please, I know I messed up, but give me another chance. I promise I'll make things right.
Get off my farm! I told you it was over! Get off me! Leave right now!
You'll regret this. I swear I'll come back for revenge, even if I have to go to prison.
What would you do if the man who once destroyed your life returned, begging on his knees for forgiveness? In this gripping story, Linda faces her past when her abusive ex-husband shows up, pleading to avoid prison. But after breaking his promises twice, Linda refuses to fall into the same trap. With her supportive husband Quang by her side, the confrontation becomes a powerful moment of courage, justice, and liberation. If you want more intense emotional stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and stay with us, because the truth you're about to hear will leave you breathless. The late afternoon sun was sinking behind the line of old buildings, painting the quiet street in shades of fading gold, when Linda finally locked the door of her small flower shop. It had been a long day, but a peaceful one, exactly the kind of life she had fought so hard to rebuild. She slipped the keys into her bag and turned to leave, thinking only of the warm dinner waiting at home with Quang. But before she could take a single step, a familiar shadow separated itself from the dim alley across the street. Her breath caught in her throat. It was him. Her ex-husband, gaunt, disheveled, almost unrecognizable, stumbled toward her like a man wandering out of a nightmare. His clothes hung loosely on his frame, and his eyes, once sharp with anger and control, now flickered with a frantic desperation. Linda instinctively stepped backward, her pulse hammering in her ears. She thought she had prepared herself for the possibility of seeing him again, but no amount of mental rehearsal could dull the cold jolt that struck her chest at that moment. When he reached the small patch of pavement in front of her shop, he stopped abruptly. For a heartbeat, he simply stared at her, his lips trembling, his breaths uneven. Then, in a sudden motion that startled her, he dropped to his knees with a dull thud that echoed in the quiet evening air. "Linda." His voice broke instantly, as though it hadn't been used in years. Please listen to me." His hands shook as he pressed them together in a pleading gesture. "I'm begging you. I can't go to prison. I can't survive that." The sight would have shaken anyone. It should have evoked pity, but Linda felt no softness rising inside her, only a cold, familiar ache. For a moment, she could only stare at him, frozen. The memories came rushing back like trapped ghosts freed from their cage. Nights filled with fear, bruises hidden beneath long sleeves, apologies whispered through lips that lied, promises that always shattered the moment his anger returned. She swallowed hard, forcing her breathing to steady. The woman she was now, stronger, steadier, no longer chained by fear, held her ground. Still, it was impossible not to feel the ripple of old wounds inside her. Her ex-husband's voice grew more frantic as he mistook her silence for hesitation. He crawled forward slightly, the gravel scraping beneath his knees. "I know I hurt you. I know I broke everything. But I'm different now. I swear. I just need one chance. Please, Linda." His tears spilled freely, streaking down the sharp lines of his hollowed cheeks. But all Linda could see was the truth. Not the man begging at her feet, but the man he had been, the man who had almost destroyed her. And despite the trembling in her hands, despite the sting behind her eyes, she understood one thing clearly. This time, she would not be. For several long seconds, Linda said nothing. The fading sunlight pulled around her like a quiet shield, drawing a clear line between the woman she used to be and the woman standing here now. She drew a slow breath, forcing the tremor out of her voice before she finally spoke. "You already had your second chance," she said, her words steady, cutting through the air with the calmness that surprised even herself. "You promised me you would change. You swore you would never lay a hand on me again. And for a moment, I believed you." Her ex-husband flinched as if struck, but Linda continued, her voice unwavering. "But then you did it again. You didn't slip. You didn't make a mistake. You chose to hurt me." He shook his head wildly, wiping his tears with the back of his hand. No, Linda, it wasn't like that." "It was exactly like that," she said, cutting him off. "And you know it." The firmness in her voice wasn't anger. It was clarity. A clarity she had fought for through sleepless nights, therapy sessions, and the steady, patient love she found after escaping him. She had learned to recognize the cycle. The begging, the crying, the promises, the remorse that lasted only until the next wave of rage. The cycle she had nearly died inside. Her ex-husband crumpled further, his shoulders shaking. "I was under pressure. I lost my job. I wasn't thinking straight. Please, Linda, I'll fix everything. I'll do whatever it takes. Don't let them lock me up." His desperation thickened the air, but Linda only felt a distant ache, like touching a scar that no longer hurt, but still remembered the blade. "There was a time," she said quietly, "when hearing you cry would have broken me. When I would have bent just to stop the pain, just to keep the peace." She looked down at him, her expression soft but resolute. "But that Linda is gone. She had to disappear so that I could survive." He stared up at her with wide, trembling eyes, searching her face for any crack, any sign of the softness he once took advantage of. But she kept her gaze steady, unflinching, even as her heart tightened. "You can cry, you can apologize, you can swear you've changed, but none of it erases what you did, and none of it guarantees you won't do it again." She shook her head slowly. "I won't give you the chance to hurt me a third time. I won't gamble my life on a promise you've already broken twice." Her ex-husband's expression twisted from sorrow to a flicker of despair, then anger, back again, as unstable and unpredictable as she remembered him to be. But Linda no longer feared that volatility. She had faced it, survived it, and she was done letting it control her. Before Linda could speak again, the quiet crunch of footsteps approached from behind her. She didn't need to turn to know who it was. The warmth that wrapped around her whenever he drew near was unmistakable. Quang stepped into the fading sunlight, his presence steady and grounding, like an anchor in the storm. His eyes swept over the scene in front of him, Linda standing tall, her ex-husband kneeling on the pavement like a shattered remnant of the past. A flicker of shock touched Quang's expression for only a moment before disappearing, replaced by a cold, controlled fury. "Stand up," Quang said, his voice low and firm, not a shout, not a threat, but a command layered with authority. Linda's ex-husband stiffened, slowly raising his head. His eyes darted between them, desperation twisting deeper into fear. "Quang, please," he stammered, wiping at his face. "I'm just asking her to reconsider. I can't go to prison. You don't understand." "No," Quang interrupted, stepping protectively beside Linda, his hand slipping into hers. He positioned himself slightly in front of Linda, not to hide her, but to show clearly where he stood, with her, in front of her, for her. The ex-husband's face fell. "You filed the charges. You're the reason I'm going to jail." Quang's jaw tightened. "I'm not the reason." He raised Linda's hand gently, as if reminding the man of what he had nearly destroyed. "You are." A tremor ran through the ex-husband's body, anger and humiliation rippling beneath the surface. But whatever spark he once used to intimidate Linda was gone. It held no power here, not in the presence of a man who could not be bullied, manipulated, or fooled. "Linda," he pleaded again, turning back to her with eyes swollen from crying. "Please, tell him to stop. Tell him you forgive me. I'm begging you." Linda squeezed Quang's hand, drawing strength from the steady warmth of his grip. She took one small step forward, enough to meet the broken man's eyes. "This is the last thing I'll ever say to you," she said softly. "I don't hate you, but I don't owe you anything. Not forgiveness, not mercy, not a way out of the consequences you brought on yourself. You had years to change. You didn't." Her words didn't rise, didn't shake. They were calm, final, unmovable. Quang exhaled, his chest rising with pride and relief as he gently placed an arm around her shoulders. "The court date is set. Your games won't work anymore. The law will do the rest." The ex-husband's face finally collapsed into complete defeat. He lowered his head, shoulders curling inward as though the entire world had caved in. There was no more pleading, no more bargaining, only the quiet acceptance of a fate he had written himself. Linda leaned into Quang, her heart untangling.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tử Ninda Review. Trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay thì chồng cũ của Ninda khi đối diện với án tù rất là lâu thì hắn ta đã lính nông trại tìm Ninda cầu xin cô tha thứ và rút lại đơn kiện. Nhưng rất là điều rất là đáng buồn đó chính là Ninda và Quang là người không thể tha thứ cho hắn ta. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn trong câu chuyện sẽ còn được kể trong video tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh, sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Thanks for watching. Bye bye and see you.